All right, boys, we're back on the greatest channel on the internet. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you guys doing well. I've been loving this channel. I've been loving putting effort into this channel. I'm really trying to create videos for this channel. I love doing it. And you guys are loving it. Now, this video is going to be a really interesting one because I want you as the viewer to think about this directly. No bias. So if you support Real Madrid, if you support Barcelona, if you support Bayern, if you support Man City, just remove all of that if you can. And watch this video and tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you think is going to happen. Tell me where you think we're at right now, and tell me what you think are huge variables in terms of what's going to happen. So this video today, we're going to be talking about the Ballon d'Or. And the reason I want to talk about it is that I believe there's a couple pretty insane situations going on this year. So obviously, Messi won the Ballon d'Or last year. A lot of people had a problem with that. A lot of people felt Haaland deserved it. Statistically, you definitely could make the argument that it should have been Haaland's, right? But obviously, as we know, the Ballon d'Or is very, very dependent on team success. It is a huge deal. It's why we saw, a player like even Luka Modric win it. In I think it was 2018, right? Because he had such a strong campaign with Madrid and then done amazing with Croatia, right? Croatia did incredible that year. So that was a huge reason why he had won, right? So there's been a lot of those over time. We'll go over those right now. So right now, this is as of 1 day ago, Jude Bellingham has a 28.6% probability of winning the Ballon d'Or. So today, Jude Bellingham just won the league. Mbappe, this is just according to Bet365 odds. So these are odds makers. These are bookies. And a lot of the time with Ballon d'Or, it's a huge look. The trophy itself, winning this is such a big deal. It's such a legacy importance on a player's career in football history. But a lot of it is a lot propaganda based. A lot of it ends up being, where's the narrative going? Who's getting all the media push? Who's getting the attention, right? So a lot of it depends on that. And so a lot of times there'll be campaigns for certain players. Look, I think so far Jude is definitely makes sense to me that he's the favorite. But obviously we're at the time in the year right now where there's so much dependent on what happens. It's an international year. We've got the Euros this summer. We've still got Champions League finishing out. We've still got Europa League finishing out. We've still got, Euros, Copa, all that, right? So the top 4 players are all in international tournaments. I think these odds, I understand it's like bookie odds. I don't think Phil Foden is in this conversation for this year. Unless we get to a situation where England go ahead, sweep the Euro, and Foden is like the main culprit and ends up getting, all this attention. And I actually think with us having 3 English players in the top 5 is a little bit of a problem here, and it's going to be tough for all 3 of them to probably showcase out individually at the Euro, because obviously they're all 3 incredible, and they're all 3 going to seriously contribute to winning. So I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. Mbappe is understandable, right? Mbappe right now, we'll talk a little about Champions League if I get the time to make a video tomorrow on the preview. You guys liked the last one a lot. Mbappe is chilling. Down 1 goal in the semifinals. Obviously, a lot rides on, does Mbappe carry this team this year? No other superstar. Does he win the Champions League? Does France, as the favorite, do they show out at the Euro? A lot depends on that. And that's where Mbappe could easily go ahead and get his first Ballon d'Or this year. That could happen. A lot of the Ballon d'Or conversation, these players are in the rotation and they're working their way up. Mbappe has been really working his way up to be kind of at the top of this Ballon d'Or list. He's been close a couple times, not ultra close, but close enough and in that kind of conversation, and never won one. Same thing with Harry Kane. In my opinion, there's no way, as good as Harry Kane has been this season, because of how dependent I feel this award is on team success, I just don't know if Harry Kane is going to be able to get it this year with how Bayern have done. But again, Bayern are in it. Look, Bayern are in the Champions League semifinals, and they are in a situation where, let's say they knock out Real Madrid and win the Champions League, and Harry Kane goes ahead and at least gets a finalist at the Euro. There's so many variables going on here. But there's one player I want to talk about today that is not on the Ballon d'Or list that I think we actually need to seriously invite to the list. And that's a major part of why I'm making this video, because I've been looking all over Twitter at a lot of these odds, and I can't believe that we're not talking about one player. So yes, can Jude Bellingham win the Champions League, win the Euro? Yes. Both teams good enough to do it. Same thing with Mbappe. France, PSG, they could do it. Can Harry Kane and England win the Euro? They can. Can they win the Champions League? Yes, right? Man City out of the Champions League, I don't see a way for Phil Foden, right? Because if England win, I think you'll see it more with Harry Kane or Jude, because both their teams are still able to win the Champions League, and that's a huge variable. So Foden, I don't see it. Vinny Jr., right? Can he lead Brazil to win Copa, right? It's going to be a very tough tournament for them. Can he be the guy? that's a huge play as well, right? And then obviously still in the Champions League, and obviously Vinny this season has been incredible. This has been Vinny's best breakout, knockout UCL game season. He has been insane. So that's not all what we're here to talk about today. So obviously Harry Kane, 36 goals, 8 assists, right? Playing phenomenal. We all know that. Mbappe this season in the league on, which I don't even know the last time I watched the game, but I'm not going to be here to be mean about that. 26 goals, 7 assists. He's had 8 goals in the Champions League as well. So he's still had, statistically, he's had a really good year, right? He's had 43 goals. He's had 10 assists in 45 games. It's been another great year for Mbappe. Both of his squads are still alive in both competitions. He's a huge reason for it. We're here to talk about Florian Wirtz because it has been brought to my attention. We made a video about Leverkusen I think a week or two ago, and kind of how could they get through this initial opening week? Could they get through unbeaten against Dortmund and Stuttgart? And boy, oh boy, did they. And we made a video about it. And then they done it against Roma. They ended up winning 2-0 this week against Roma. So we're looking at the rest of the season with Leverkusen, right? They play Frankfurt tomorrow. They play Roma again next Thursday. And then they have 3 more games. They're not playing anybody too crazy. They have a Pokal final where they can get another trophy, and they can genuinely finish this season unbeaten. They've got 5 games left to do it, and it's gonna be historic. And that's why I think Florian Wirtz needs to be in this conversation because of how he is doing this year. Now, something I want to point out to you guys, right? These are the best all-time unbeaten runs in Europe. I'm not sure if this website is totally updated. When was this posted? 3 days ago? I'm not sure if it includes the recent. I don't know the exact number they are on. Let's see. So I don't know. It doesn't say anything about that. So it's either 45 or 46 unbeaten in Europe. So Leverkusen right now are 3 matches away from tying the all-time record. And a lot of these websites and these outlets have not been considering Portugal a top 5 league. I think Portugal and France recently in the coefficient have been kind of interchanging back and forth. But I think Portugal is a good enough league to respect it. Benfica went 48 games unbeaten in Europe, but Leverkusen are almost there at the number 1. I mean, this is how close they are to doing something beyond historic. And I'm like, how can we not have a player from this team mentioned? Especially, and I'll talk why Wirtz fits the criteria really well here. I mean, it's incredible to see what they're doing, right? And this type of run hasn't been done since 2016, 2017, where Madrid had 40, right? So it's been a couple of years since we've seen a run like this. And I just, looking around Twitter, when you look up Ballon d'Or, when you see this type of stuff, right? This one I don't know about. Cristiano Ronaldo is currently the favorite to win the 2024 Ballon d'Or if he wins the Euros. As much as I love Ronaldo, I don't know, man. Is it going to happen? Is it possible if Ronaldo goes ahead and has a crazy tournament? Is it possible with his stats in Saudi? He scored a couple more goals recently this week. I don't know. I would definitely say, man, either way, I don't know if Portugal is going to have it. Are they a contender for the Euros? Yes. I'm not sure. This statistic, I don't know. This seems like a little bit of an outcast here, this one. Florian Wirtz this season, 18 goals, 19 assists, right? So first of all, I mean, that's just crazy. He's a central attacking midfielder. He's got 37 contributions this season alone. I wanted to go through with you guys and just talk a little bit about Ballon d'Or. And obviously, I want to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know what you guys think. So obviously, last year we know it was Messi. It was Benzema before that. Benzema, obviously, they had the crazy run in the UCL. Messi again before that. 2019. So Messi has had the recent 2 Ballons Messi has won. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. They were very critical ones in the way that he just barely won it against Haaland. But again, it probably hurt Haaland that Norway wasn't in the same spot as Argentina, right? And Messi won the World Cup with Argentina was a huge reason for it, right? 2021, Messi versus Lewandowski was that year, and then Lewandowski got robbed in 2020 because Lewandowski was deserving of a Ballon d'Or one of these years, right? For sure. Messi wins the previous year. We had Luka Modric with Croatia. Obviously, Ronaldo and Messi run the show. But really, I wanted to point out that Modric, yes, it's possible for a midfielder, it's possible for a central attacking midfielder to do this. The last time we even had a defender win, Messi in 2019, by the way, that was the year, I think it was against VVD, that VVD lost by 7 votes. So Messi won very closely, very narrowly, the recent ones against some totally worthy contenders. I don't really have an opinion either way on that. I'm not really too fussed about it. So I'm just opening the conversation because look, statistically, we've had a couple crazy players this year for sure. But I think that there's a couple things with Wirtz that I'm interested with here, and here's what it is, right? So they can still win the Europa League. And I know the Champions League is a huge deal. So I'm like, do you guys feel like, let me paint this picture to you. I was going to tweet this the other day, but I just feel like getting it in a video is an interesting way to look at it. So let's say this with Leverkusen. Let's say Leverkusen, go ahead. They win the Europa League, right? Wirtz is scoring in all these games. He has been. Let's say they go undefeated rest of the season. So they have 5 games left in Europe. They end up with 50-game unbeaten streak in the same year. And let's say this, right? Because Germany, in my opinion, from what I've seen from some of the German players recently, I watched the German friendly versus France. I am way more invested in Germany doing well, my stock of their team, than I was probably 3 months ago. And Germany, for the longest time, seemed extremely lost. Now we get to the situation where they've got Havertz and Füllkrug playing well. They've got Musiala and Wirtz. Sané's looking like himself again. Kroos is aging like fine wine. They've got Gundo. They've got Kimmich. They've got Rudy playing like the best defender in the world. They still got experience in net with Neuer and Ter Stegen. So, I mean, we have to look at Germany as actually a serious contender. They're probably, if I'm going to look at this objectively, probably the 3rd favorite, and you could argue differently based on the group setting. You'd probably have France and England above them, and that's probably what it is betting-wise. I don't know exactly what it is betting-wise, but that's what I would assume. So, and they're also in a very favorable group. They're not in an insane group. They've got Switzerland, Hungary, and Scotland, who are all good teams, but, you know, let's be real. Then you've got Spain, Italy, Croatia, Albania. Obviously, Spain could do it. England is in a group with Denmark, Serbia, Slovenia, right? So I'm just painting this picture to you guys. Let's say Germany and the Euros at least are finalists, right? So what hurts Wirtz, right? Let's say they go undefeated. Wirtz, he goes undefeated with Leverkusen. He wins everything. They win Pokal, undefeated in the Bundesliga. They go and win Europa League. They don't lose, right? And they go on a 50-game streak. Okay, let's say that Germany in the Euro, right? And Wirtz has a good tournament. Let's say they get at least to the finals, right? Did this not happen with Luka Modric, right? So that's a similar situation. What is the problem where Wirtz doesn't have a chance to win it, right? And so here is where we get to this problem. Here's where we get to this problem, okay? And Wirtz this season, phenomenal, right? I don't need to say it enough of how good he has been this season. Statistics cannot define how good he's been. He's been everything for this team, right? So Jude just won the league, right? So Madrid winning the league, German league, right? What's probably going to get a little bit more respect from voters, the Spanish league, okay? Now, objectively, right? Jude also this season, 22 goals, 10 assists, 38 matches, been phenomenal, right? Phenomenal as well. And obviously a massive reason why Madrid, look, the people hating on Jude Bellingham need to stop. What this guy does for a team, his work rate, his technical ability, his like all the time motor in this team is so important for them. So it needs to stop because people are like hating on this guy. I don't really get it. But when I see this graphic, I'm like, why is Wirtz not in here? Okay, here are the scenarios where it's going to be trouble for Wirtz. So let's paint the picture. It is a huge if Germany get to the finals, but I think Germany look good enough to get to the semis. We'll look at that one more time in a second. Where's the problem for Wirtz, right? Okay, here's the issue. Right now, the top 3 betting odds players, Jude, Mbappe, Harry Kane, and let's just say for the sake of the argument, Vinny Jr., right? All 4 of these players are in Champions League semifinals right now, right? 3 teams. So the only team not on there is Dortmund. They will not have anybody that wins the Ballon, bro. It's not going to happen for Dortmund, right? So that to me is an issue because of this, okay? The UCL is a massive, massive trophy to win, okay? And all 4 of these players are all playing for phenomenal national teams. So let's say, in the example, Jude and Vinny win the UCL, right? Then it's going to come down to England and Brazil, and it's like, does Wirtz even have a chance at that point? Sadly, probably not. I feel like that's... So the scenario, like the best case scenario, if we're going to make the argument for Florian Wirtz, is that Dortmund wins the UCL. To be honest, right? And then it even adds strength to the league, right? And I would say that, I'll say that also for Harry Kane. I will say that even if Bayern win the UCL, right, that actually helps Wirtz's argument for who is left, because if Madrid wins it, Wirtz is in big trouble. And the reason I say that is that, let's say Germany go outperform England at the Euro, right? England don't win the Euro, and Wirtz keeps balling, and they do this, right? You actually have the argument for Wirtz. You do. But that's probably the best case scenario for the Wirtz argument, is that Bayern or Dortmund win. It helps the strength of the league look better, right? The trophy in the league matters a little bit more. And I think that he's not going to get outshined by the fact that if PSG go and win it, it's probably going to be a lot because of Mbappe, the responsibility, right? And same thing with Real Madrid, right? Vinny and Jude then get it, and you know, they play again Brazil and England. If Brazil wins Copa or do well at Copa, and then if England, right, that's where you get in trouble. But we could, just to add one final twist here. Okay, so let's say that Jude and Vinny or Mbappe win the Champions League, right? But you know what? There is an argument, right? Because if Wirtz and Germany win the Euro, that's where everything changes. I haven't even put that into the equation. So that's how something could trump this UCL, could outshine it, right? If they go and win the Euro. And Wirtz does what he does, right? The Leverkusen, again, they win Europa League. He gets that trophy. They win Pokal, and they win the league, and they go undefeated, right? And then Wirtz continues, and they just literally plow through the Euros, and they win. That's a lot easier said than done, but that is the scenario you could still make the case. Although I would say I definitely think that England and France probably are betting odds a little bit more of a favorite. But who knows, man? Germany's starting to really play well. We might have to put respect on their name. So it's a very interesting argument. I wonder, what do you guys think is going to happen? This is going to be a very entertaining race to the Ballon d'Or at the end of the season, because there's a lot of scenarios here where it's possible, man. You know, at the Euro, I probably would say betting-wise, you will see England, you will see France. I don't think Belgium is ahead of Germany. Portugal, some shouts, but I don't think they're ahead. So it's one of those where, wow, man, it might really come down to the tournament this summer. So let me know what you guys think, man. This is a really interesting one. I just wanted to put some respect on Florian Wirtz's name, bro, because I think that, you know, we have to look at him in this conversation and think that, hey, yes, it is possible. It is possible. Is it likely? Probably not as likely as what we see, but what do you guys think? Thanks for watching, boys. Thanks for chilling. I'll see you guys later. Peace.